There are some maybe slight concerns picking TA into the Disruptor like that, because Refraction buys you a few moments of time, but if you're caught in it, you're caught in it, and there's not too much you can do to get out. But if you're Dreamers, you're hoping that you don't run into that problem. That's not quite a Viper ET, but the Veno comes into play here, so very annoying, lots of DOT, and Dreamers don't exactly have a crazy amount of range here either, so that Nova could hit onto pretty much everybody.
Yeah, and even though it's not Viper, I think it's a better Viper. Kind of heresy, but it just is more annoying, has a better ultimate versus heroes like Kunkka and Undying because it does that max HP burn, and is just a really obnoxious lane. It's just going to be annoying. Now, something they do have to be careful of on Infinity, if you ever get that toss back, if you toss the TA onto the Veno, a lot of the times the TA just kills the Veno. It's where early on you really need to make sure those meld hits don't go off, especially if you're going to be low already because of the Undying. So really finding that fine line, because they want to go for the toss backs, but they also don't want to allow the TA to just get a freebie where they take out the Veno and then maybe the Veno and the TA end up trading for each other, but the TA gets a kill. Don't want to see that. It's where Infinity have to keep her at arm's length. Need to be really careful when it comes to those plays. Otherwise, they will get punished very easily. It's just going to be a simple play for them. As well as kind of picking into the Kunkka. Super simple lane for Jamari to show up to. It's a Veno. He's not running. He's not getting away from you with the X. No trickery there. He's going to be a pretty simple kill for the Kunkka pretty much anytime boats up.
Yeah. In the meantime, for Dreamers, solid bans here in Phase 3. The Prophet and the Monkey King both being removed, so gonna force Dodd to play something a little bit different here. On the Infinity side, though, looking at the offlane, a ban on the Legion Commander, which is always kind of interesting to see. It's a hero that ET I still wouldn't say is popular, but in the right circumstances, more and more teams are kind of leaning that way sometimes. It does leave you a little single target focused, but the amount of lockdown and the amount of potential scaling that the LC brings to the table is always kind of worth a look.
Yeah, also perhaps a little bit scared of the Dispel, but
Mm-hmm.
Batrider's already banned out, so that's not the easy kind of tell for what they're wanting to draft here. But at the same time, usually if there's an LC ban, you think of what weak hero are they going to want to draft? What illusion
Mm-hmm.
hero would they want to come through? I think the easy one to say would probably be Naga Siren, or I could also see Infinity looking for the TB themselves, which is a classic counter versus the Templar Assassin, where you just overload her, you overwhelm her. If TA ever decides to go for the Blink build instead of the Ags build, once she commits, she's in. So might as well give her 50 million targets to end up hitting. And we'll see, because the Pango could also change it. Dreamers cover their bases a little bit, playing into any illusion hero with the Pango. And it's funny that the Pango makes it all the way down. And it should be a Drakeel Pango. I think don't want to shift the Kunkka around, even though Jamari would also love it, but there's just not enough space in the draft. And we'll see. Did this Pango mess up Infinity's plans here for picking up one of those, again, weaker laner heroes with the LC ban, or is this just going to be fine here for Dodd?
Well, see what direction they look to go in here, because realistically, outside of those last two bans, the carry pool was not touched much by Dreamers. In fact, it was Infinity
Oh,
who did most of the banning, and okay. They'll grab the Doom for themselves, so I mean, fair enough, right? We've seen Adrian on it a couple of times, but Dodd, just as capable, maybe hasn't played it as much in recent memory compared to his opponent, but still in his wheelhouse.
yeah. And they're allowed to do this. They've got a Leshrac. Leo style will take care of the buildings. It's where Dodd has that flexibility, and it quite literally is Dreamer's strat. This is what Dreamers wants to do in the majority of their games. It's why Leshrac gets banned out first phase against him. So Infinity are just kind of drafting to a T here. I was thinking maybe they would decide to just immediately counter out the Pango with the Bloodseeker, because that hero's still kicking around. But, you know,
Mhm.
Doom works. It will fulfill that same role, is an even stronger lane as well. Drakeel and ZXA really don't have that much damage between the two of them. Kind of an annoying lane that they're going to have to deal with, where Dodd just has too much armor, too much stat. It's just going to run around farm, and it's a real easy game for him to team fight, because all he has to do is find the TA. Doom the TA, done. Team fight's over. Then it's going to be Dreamers scrambling to make sure their spells connect, but even then, All Dodd needs is a blink and a BKB, and then suddenly Dreamer's game gets very, very difficult. But
Mm.
if Dreamers control the pit, if they get an Aegis, as soon as they get an Aegis in the hands of Adrian, that's where the game flips, where you suddenly can't doom him because he's got 2 lives. That's when the game gets really difficult, and that's where a lot of this game is going to be pretty much decided. Do Dreamers easily get the Aegis for Adrian? Do they get that wiggle room? Do they force Infinity into impossible team fights? Or does Dad get his man? That's pretty much it.
Mm. Yeah, because if the Aegis is in Adrian's hand, technically speaking, Infinity could kill the TA without using one of their major spells, right? Without the Doom, without something like the Static, but it would be pretty damn hard. So a scenario Infinity would like to outright avoid if they can. We'll see how this plays out, taking a Dreamers Esports strat and kind of deploying it against them. Although, I'd say that's more Doom-centric. I don't think Dreamers really picked any Veno recently. I'm not sure anybody has really been picking Veno recently, but if you were looking for a guy to play offlane Venomancer regardless of its status in the meta ET, Oscar is one of those guys.
Yeah, just extremely experienced on a hero that sometimes, can show its problems. Of course, being an offlaner without a stun, and a mid laner as well without very much playmaking ability, it puts a lot of pressure onto Genic. And a Blink Dagger that will come eventually from the Doom, but will also need to kind of wait here. It's where a lot of that lockdown is just falling at the feet of your support as Genic. Brother, 5 tower shots.
Well, he does get the toss back. Can they kill 555 first? Oh, yeah, absolutely. So at this point, Genic... Well,
the perfect bait.
Yeah, the doubt was misplaced, apparently. But still, it's kind of a weird play to bait before the horn sounds by losing 2/3 of your HP, but it works out. Vision's going to be thrown down here. I don't think we're going to see any further engagements. If you're Dreamers, you might just back off, and this whole time Adrian's just been chilling top, so if he's not going to be involved at all, not really worth trying, but runes will spawn. Dodd is able to grab his, so Infinity get 3 of the 4 along with First Blood.
Yeah, pretty solid stuff. Dodd does have to skill Scorched Earth out of fear of taking too much damage right-clicking out to the lane, so no Devour level 1, but we'll see if that becomes a problem. Prada might end up just saving the Thunder Strike instead of going into the trade, instead securing the range creep, but who knows? It'll be fine, really. Just going to have to see how Prada decides to work this lane, because Disruptor is still one of the most efficient heroes in the game when it comes to those early game trades. Just always so obnoxious.
Mm-hmm. It's always kind of weird to say, considering how costly Thunderstrike is at really all levels, but it does so much. Yeah, the mana cost is high, but you can't say you don't get your money's worth out of it.
Nope, it's obnoxious, it's very efficient. And this is also, like we said earlier, kind of a hard lane for Infinity to lose. Dodd will just get farm. He will continue to just do what Doom does best, which is kind of go 50-50 in the lane and then gets levels and then starts to eat the creeps. That's all there is to it.
Gold will be coming his way. It's just a matter for Drakeel of how much can you get for yourself in the meantime. As up in the top lane, Oscar got beat up a little bit there. 3 decays, but while he took a lot of damage, so did Adrian. So these two sides not too shy about the engagements. And look at Genic holding in the tree line here. He would have to pop a mango or wait a few seconds here for the toss play, but he is going to try. And the meld kind of ruins that timing. And now if you're Genic, you might want to fall back. Tries for the toss anyway, but not a full toss back, just a toss to get 555 physically out of his way.
Yeah. Still, though, so annoying. And Oscar, I mean, is this enough? Kind of an awkward tomb, but they are so low. He wanted to press under the tower, but now you're just giving a ton of XP to your opponents here. Adrian's going to try to maybe deny a little bit under the tower, and Genic and Oscar certainly need a little bit more regen, but as soon as these decays are gone, they're going to pop themselves up another 150 HP, something like that. So really, they're fine. Genic does need help, though. Fairy Fire?
Genic Oh, they
And
don't
they
get
don't even
it.
get the kill.
That's very strange as... Oh, on the other side of the map, Dodd able to find a pickoff. ZXEA gets taken down. Genic, meanwhile, got the toss onto 555. The problem is, this Undying can fight against these two low-health heroes, so this is kind of awkward. The Avalanche comes in, but at this point, it's just not enough.
Oh, this is kind of nasty. And once you hit level 3 on Oscar, that second point up in Gale is very annoying, but they really haven't been able to touch a lot of these creeps. A lot of denies, a lot of assets going Adrian's way. They are quite heavily getting zoned right now, even though currently we're waiting for a lot of these couriers to actually make their deliveries. A lot of those resources are spent and been already turned into more regen that everybody still needs.
Regen being delivered, healing up. Meanwhile, over on the other side, Dodd, oh, with that second kill, feeling pretty good. And oh, look at this as well. He's got the Chain Lightning. So they've got Chain Lightning, they've got Thunder Strikes. This lane is absolute hell for Dreamers, and ZXCA may just get punished. Glimpse is going to pull him back. He's straight up dead. There's nothing you can do about that as the Rubik.
Nope. Gets the arcane boots, has 2 mangoes as well. Dodge is ready to fight. Just
555.
the worst case scenario.
Dropping low on the other side of the map, but denied. Okay. Adrian's at least able to pull something back, but over in the middle lane, Leo style, gets a surprising kill onto Jamari, but Jamari, did he greed out a little bit? What? Yeah, there's that bracer. It was on the courier, but it doesn't get to him in time, so he does fall, and then Adrian gets caught by the Avatos play. Oscar unbelievably low on health, and actually went for a second point up in the Poison Sting instead of the Venomous Scale, but they still find the pick onto TAET, and well, that's 5 straight for Infinity to open this game.
Yeah, just early game, intro boys, just feeling like they've got this these lanes on lock. Bottom lane is the easy one, but the top lane will only get more difficult for Adrian. Genic decides to deny himself. Perfect deny again from Genic. Just knows that window. Make sure he doesn't get punished. And the lane is still not very fun for Oscar. Without his lane partner, there's no reason for Adrian to not just walk up to the wave and be obnoxious. But it still means that, you know, he's getting denied a lot. He's not getting too many creeps. It's evened up a little bit, but bottom lane is still a definitive win. And the levels are starting to get even further up. And then eventually, I mean, with how this bottom lanes went, Doom's going to get level 6, and then he's going to force Pango to just sit in the trees, because you're going to get doomed. You're going to die. You're going to get soul killed by Dodd. Not fun.
This lane is exceptionally dumb for Infinity. Just having that Chain Lightning changes the entire dynamic. Mr. Keel, nope, he's in trouble. The Glimpse is going to pull him back. He's forced to swashbuckle away. And that will keep him alive for now. In fact, Prada is the one who gets into a little bit of trouble there. He took a few extra tower shots, but ZXCA, you really can't afford to chase for too long. Thunderstrike is on him. There's that Chain Lightning again. I cannot begin to express just how unbelievable this Chain Lightning pickup makes this. 5.
Yeah, and I got bad news.
Adrian's dead.
Is that intentional? It looked intentional.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. ET, this one's starting to get out of hand pretty early.
Yeah, all we can really hope for is the level 6 timings, Ghost Ship, Rolling Thunder. Dreamers are going to have to call this one back, because this is 2k gold lead at 6 minutes. Every lane is really going rough. Mid lane is also becoming a little bit of a problem, which is how it's supposed to go. Leshrac just being a ranged hero just does a little bit more damage, is a little bit more annoying, just usually comes out to a lead in this lane, but it just means that as soon as you get that level 6, the rotations need to happen. And I don't know if you're ganking Dodd at this point, so you have to find the play there onto Oscar to free up some space for Adrian. Because if they keep on bleeding out of these lanes, I mean, there is no recovery. That is the recovery. And Dodd gets another one.
They find a kill on one half of the map. Meanwhile, on the other, Adrian's in some trouble. He does get Genic, but he's going to die for it. 555, he would love to defend his tombstone, but he's out of health and mana, so they're going to give up more gold off the back of it. The kill, plus 150. Oh boy. And that's what, Adrian's, I think, third death now. Oh boy. This is not fun.
And Dreamers only have one real kill. It is just Genic. The other kill was a deny that he did at the tier 2, so the revenge is just not there. And now Oscar's level 6. Adrian is probably just going to have to walk back and farm the jungle. Like I said earlier, they need to hit with these level 6s. Drakeel just got Rolling Thunder, got Ghost Ship. Having these heroes smoke up, sync up, do whatever, I don't care. They need to find something, because this game is not getting any easier. And in the meantime, Infinity is just going to farm. They're going to get off to an even better start. And don't look at the net worth graph, because that's sad.
It's not really a great situation. Oh, Jamari. How's he going to get out of this one? He did pop the X. That's going to get Leo Style away from him initially, but the glimpse evens up that score, and Jamari, welcome back, and you're immediately dead. Leo Style finds the pickup, 4-0-1 now in the Leshrac, an Arcane Rune into his bottle on top of it. It just keeps getting worse here if you're Dreamers, and well, at this point you just gotta hope that Adrian can stay safe and farm here, but he's looking for his first item at this point. They are going to get onto Oscar at least. Keel rotates in, and they let Adrian sort of get the last hit in there, so that is certainly going to help, but they need a hell of a lot more plays like that one.
Yeah, and they saved the Rolling Thunder. Keel can still have a very large impact on the map here, and they do concede where they should concede. They're not going back to the Doom lane. Dowd can do whatever he wants. He'll get a really fast BKB. He'll get a really fast Blink Dagger. Can't afford to look at him right now. Maybe if he decides to show up to a team fight, we can change our attention to him. But for now, continue to bully the snake. Keep killing Venomancer. And Drakeel stays top exactly for this reason. They don't see him. He shows too far up the wave. TA trap. And then Oscar. I feel like they're already going to lose Adrian, but they need to get this trade.
Adrian is dropping. Can they deny him? No, they cannot. Oscar walks away, so they have to focus Genic. And they will at least get him. But they want more. Look at the way Jamari's pushing, but he doesn't have the angle. He doesn't have the timing.
Yeah. Just so focused on the deny that Drakeel waits to Rolling Thunder, so Oscar gets the walk out. And that trade feels really bad. And then the push happens mid, because the Kunkka rotated out. Leostal knows that nobody's in the lane, uses that Arcane Rune, and, well, we'll see what happens. 10-minute rune coming up in just a few seconds, but they're also smoking, looking to get aggressive, and an Invis rune for Leostal if he wants it. But Adrian just showed up. He just got back to mid, and oh, Adrian, oh no.
Have a toss into Split Earth, Pulse Nova going all the way through, and Adrian, man, oh man, is he getting punished. 2 and 5 now. And Drakeel is not looking so hot in the top lane. They already used Glimpse, so it looks like Drakeel is going to be able to walk this one out, but while he walks back to base ET, he's not finding any farm. Adrian's obviously dead, so he's not really farming well. It's just Jamari right now, and the problem with this lineup is, you talked about them having to use the ults. The reason they have to use the ults is because nobody's got an important item for a long while. Oh, hold up. A long while here is Genic. He's going to wander a little bit too far there. Avalanche stolen. Genic's really making him work for it, though. Dancing around a bit before they do take him down, but yeah, you have to use Tombstone. You have to use your Ghost Ship and your Rolling Thunder, because nobody's picking up an immediate damage item out of these 3 heroes.
Yeah, and a gift. Given over. Love that. A little bit more space, a little bit of time, and look at this. Punishing Oscar, just simple TP in. It's a long TP, and he gets glimpsed away, but he got the boat down, he got the X, and it will land. Perfect.
Yeah, that threw it out at the last possible second there, and it does set up for the kill. And now Prada, he could get picked off too, but here comes the reinforcements. The cavalry has arrived. ZXCA gets blown up. TP will be canceled immediately. And Drakeel is left with no TP, and he's got to hide out in the trees.
Oh, they're feeling this one, though, and Prada got the kinetic field, but they focus on the tier 1 instead, as they should. Leostal has a 12-minute Bloodstone. My goodness. 8,000 net worth, 7,000 net worth cores for Infinity. Just insane.
Oh, Leostal hit by the X, but he's able to deny the regen rune. If he can't have it, nobody can. But now, I want to see what Leostal's play is afterwards. He goes for what is effectively a naked Bloodstone rush as Dodd gets the kill on a 5-5-5, but now, is it a bots build? Does he look for something like a Yules or a BKB? Quick buy wise, okay. It does look like it's the Boots of Travel. And a big ancient stack going his way as well. This is a lot of his mana, but whatever. He's going to be able to get through it. And Ite didn't even realize this. He's got the Fairy's Trinket too. So I don't know the last time I have seen a Leshrac start be this perfect.
Yeah, it's ideal. It's perfect. It's pretty looking, you know? He's doing pretty much exactly what he wants. And he's going to have those Boots of Travel really darn soon. But Dreamers finding some time here. Get a smoke going. Rakeel wants to be set up in a lane already, and then somebody to help him with the gank, but instead, looking bottom towards Prada, but they will cut into the jungle instead. Take a little bit of a U-turn here, looking for Dodd in the jungle. I think, let me check the courier, though. Okay, doesn't have the BKB yet. Is still farming for it, and they'd love this kill. This is a huge bounty, but it's just going to be a step behind the farming rotation. And Oscar feels like something's going on, starts placing the plague wards around, and then eventually the jig is up, knows that something's going on. They're going to try to abuse this vision on the high ground here, but if Oscar turtles, they're kind of left without a play.
Yeah. No clear-cut options for them other than just a collapse onto that tier 1 bot, but if they do that, Dodd is here. Reinforcements could TP in. Prada even has ult, so
This is a fight. Yeah.
oh, hold on, Dodd? Well, he's actually leaving, so Prada is just kind of going to be left in the dust here. Okay. Dreamers get their kill, get some damage on the tower. Creep wave's kind of starting to die off, so Adrian may need a little bit of extra help to finish it, but I think they're going to be able to get that objective, and it's gold that they desperately need, ET, but it only moves the needle so far. They're still down 8k.
Yeah, they've still got problems. And problems that are fixed by Infinity going slightly greedy here, with Leostyle getting the Boots of Travel instead of an immediate BKB. Dodd is, of course, the less greedy one in this situation, as they really want this play, but Jamari just can't get there in time, so ZXCA doesn't feel comfortable going in. And then a smoke, looking for the TA farming bottom. Kind of a risky play from Infinity, but ZXCA also kind of giving up the game there, showing that there is support down here. The TA is probably a little bit further back if the Rubik is that far forward, nuking the wave, so they lose out on an opportunity, but Infinity are still farming and still using the map.
And still looking for this play. They didn't give up on it. But considering how further back the TA is, I don't think they have the time before the smoke sort of wears off, but the TA's coming to them. Oh boy. Well, that is unbelievably awkward. There's your Static Storm. There's your Doom being thrown down. Adrian's not dead yet, but the TOT's still going to put him in trouble, and then the Glimpse forces him back into the fight. So, looked like they had been able to dodge. They will not do so over in the middle lane. Leostyle finds a kill. It does cost them their Veno, though, as Oscar gets taken down, but still a running fight going on to the east, because Jamari didn't actually get himself out of here. He's going to get glimpsed back into Dodd. And they're going to turn that into a 3-for-1, and at this point, ET Veno, I mean, sacrifice him. His job was done. He popped Mech, he popped Nova, and his team wins the fights.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. He just takes way too long to kill, even though the Tombstone as well was very well placed in that engagement, but Leostyle is just sitting there, Bloodstone on, healing, couldn't care less. He's level 14 now, he's just exploded, and you're getting to that safety point on the left track where BKB is in your rear view mirror. Dodd has his BKB as well, so you wonder for Dreamers, okay, once they can use BKBs to survive our combos, well, what do we got? Okay, we got our TA. We got Adrian. He's still working for his Deso, and he's recovered quite nicely. But any more deaths, any more troubles, and that's Genic with the Blink reveal, trying to slow him up, and if he gets in range of the glimpse, it's just over. Adrian's going to be caught, doesn't even need it, and his teammates give up on him as well.
It's a hard knock life here for the TA, but, well, you just gotta try and power through. I don't know what else to tell a carry who's sitting on 2-7 ET, but you don't really have an alternative. The Deso was completed, not before he died, but still had the gold for it. But Dreamers really in a rough spot here, and at a certain point, with Leo Style really picking up the way that he is, the objectives are going to start to fall. They're kind of lucky at this point that they're only down a couple of tier 1 towers. That can change pretty quickly. Leo Style has himself a Kaya. He just found a Philosopher's Stone as well, so his already incredible farming rate is going to tick up even further.
No. And BKB on Doom. He wants to go into the fight, and the Smoke looking for the collapse here. They would love to find Jamari, a Jamari that doesn't have his BKB yet, and try to get him on the 18-minute rune. It doesn't end up working out, and they do see 555, and the Tomb will stop this Smoke from transpiring. But they still kind of know exactly where Dreamers are playing, and they're starting to ping already. They want the tier 2 top. Infinity can't really go for Roche ever. It's kind of a forcing move that isn't really in their repertoire. They just don't have enough physical damage right now. But they got building damage, and Leo Style is already on the objective. And look at this. He doesn't even care. No cares BKB. He's got a Kaya. He's just going to continue to invest in himself. And until Dreamers kill him, it's going to continue to pay off.
And the Kaya Sanj will give him some extra durability here, so even without magic immunity, he's making the play harder for Dreamers to pull off, as the tier 2 tower is just about down. Gonna use a second edict there to get it done, but now TP's himself mid. I think he suspects that there's heroes in the area, even if they don't have the direct vision of it. But he can't go immediately. Still kind of has to wait for teammates. But, well, I say wait, but there's nothing to wait for. Dreamers almost immediately back away.
No, they still have this high ground vision. Great high ground vision for Dreamers, but no confidence in taking the tier 1 mid, even though it's been chipped down quite heavily. Only 300 more HP. But yet again, Infinity, they get near the high ground, a tombstone gets shoved in their face, and then they decide to disengage, as they should. But getting onto this tier 2 mid is a little bit more difficult. Dreamers are poised and ready to pounce. They honestly would like an engagement where they do have this nice vision set up. That's unfortunate, though. Boat comes out onto Leo Style Illusions, an Illusion Rune just scouting out, and gets a nice ultimate from the Kunkka. Unfortunate there for Jamari. Now they might not want an engagement. Could be a little bit difficult now, as Infinity, they're getting closer and closer, and that is a big steal. Glimpse is a great spell for the Rubik, but he actually has to survive this. Prada's not letting him go, though.
Yep. God's gonna jump in. They should get the kill into ZXCA quickly. But now what else can they really do? The Doom was deployed onto the Kunkka, but he is kind of just waiting it out, so instead, they're going to focus on the other cores, looking for Drakeel first. Adrian, though, makes his move, pushing in. There's the meld hit. Leo Style's in trouble.
Perfect.
And Dodd was still able to clean up a kill on the backline, but now he is completely by himself. Very well-timed blink gets him out of that X-Torrent combo. And he does make the TP home ET, but Dreamers get 4. And don't lose any of their cores even. Drakeel got real close there, but they win it.
Yeah. Complete mistake from Infinity. They throw everything away, honestly, to go for that. They go up, they get the cliff ward, but they end up feeding. And Prada, you're getting a little bit ahead of yourself here. Sure, Dodd is kind of your buddy, but a little bit crazy. But back to the previous engagement, there are sentries everywhere. There are traps everywhere. You try to break into TA territory without BKBs, plate mails, armor. Now Dodd has enough to actually survive, and he's the only survivor of that previous engagement. But if you get meld struck in your Leo style, you literally have 0 armor, and you just fed a whole bunch of gold to a TA that is now looking at BKB. You gotta tread lightly here, Infinity. You're the team that is gonna struggle a little bit more for some of these plays. Dodd also did not get the best Doom off in that last fight. It was on a Kunkka that just walked away and then got to participate in the latter half of that fight. So Infinity, better check yourselves here. Don't want to turn this easy win into a very difficult uphill battle. Even though now Dreamers, they're feeling confident. Going in, getting an Oscar. Still long kill, but almost impossible for him to escape. Just trying to drag closer to the tier 2, but still goes down very cleanly, even though Prada. Blink reveal, but a lot of damage.
Well, I think somebody may need to have a conversation with Prada here, because that's back-to-back plays where he's just kind of gone a little rogue there. Pushes in by himself, not really able to accomplish a whole lot, and A very strange series of events. Still a 6K lead, but as you were pointing out, that's not safe. If you keep making plays like that, if Dreamers are continuously given more and more time like they have been, it's going to get a little bit concerning here. So if you're Infinity, now is not the time to be losing your focus. Now is not the time to be getting overly greedy. As Genek, he's going to try and go for a wave or two, but Drakil's right on him, so Genek tries to TP out. Not going to make it. Drakil still doesn't exactly clean this up all that quickly, but Adrian's going to come over to help, and that will certainly speed things up. At the same time, they're looking at the Roche Pit ET. Infinity, well, this is not going to be the fastest attempt, but if their opponents are clear on the other side of the map, they might be able to make it work. But the scan came through, so Dreamers know this is happening. How quickly can they scramble heroes over to try and contest it? Fast
and they
enough.
also need they need everyone. It's a Roche attempt and a Roche lineup where you need 4 heroes all hitting it for it to be even a little bit fast. And you've peppered this up beautifully for Dreamers to sneak in there. Adrian just finished his BKB. If there was ever a moment in this game for Adrian to force you to fight him in the pit, now's kind of it. And if Dreamers can get Sentry dominance, they can start placing those TA traps in places where Infinity can't get rid of them as fast as they're going down. They can force this Roche. They can really let this engagement happen. Rolling Thunder just came off cooldown as well. Well, this is about as high stakes as you can get in this game.
Okay. Leo Style gets hit by the X, but they don't have a full-on complement of damage to do anything. Genek, though, did jump in, but that allows Dodd to get his opportunity. They get the Doom onto the Templar Assassin, and that TA is dropping pretty rapidly. That's a very nice Static Storm being deployed, but they need actually more than just Adrian. They're trying to clean up the Tombstone, kind of struggling with it. Eventually, they'll bring it down, and that is what they needed. They will clear the field. 555 tries to break to the left. Leo Style is able to blink directly on top of him to finish the job. But ET, I will say, okay, Adrian gets doomed. That is pretty terrible, but he's at the point now on the TA. He was doomed and in Static Storm, and it still took a little while for Infinity to kill him. So Dreamers, if they're a little bit better prepared next time around, may be able to take more or better advantage of the kind of lack of instant damage.
Yeah, and this is so important for Infinity, making sure that Aegis isn't an objective that Dreamers can force. And I think in the future, probably going to see Adrian bait his teammates a little bit more. He just right-clicked a Tiny a few times, gave up his position, gave up the vision, and that's what spelled disaster for the team. Didn't get BKB off, couldn't react, just needs to be a little bit more elusive like he was when they won their team fight, where the spells are already cast, and his teammates are fine, and he also gets to play. But now, they just need to stop hemorrhaging as Keel gonna get the roll up, gonna get away, and now Genek gets turned on.
Able to bring him down pretty quickly. Of course, during that process, Jamari did lose the other half of his Aghanim Scepter, so that does get slightly delayed, but they're able to find a second kill onto Oscar, and that should buy them some time. Even with Leo Style having 2 lives, he does not want to push in without any backup.
Yeah, but 2 nice kills bottom. Style is chilling around here now, and, well, gonna get kited out a little bit. TA is already left, so there really is no kill threat here, and yeah, the support's maybe getting punished here for sticking around. 555 trying for the TP. No Infernal Blade, but doesn't matter. Too much damage. And, well, there you go. Adrian left, everybody else stuck around. At least the Penga didn't die.
Yeah, you get your kill out of there. That's going to count for something, but the supports do get punished pretty significantly as Genek and Prada. Well, I don't think they realized how close they were to 2 heroes. They saw Drakil, they didn't really see Jamari, but the Leshrac TP's in. TP's directly into some damage, though, so he's got to play it safe. Meanwhile, Dot tried to go for the Doom, but Adrian was able to blink out in time, so instead, they turn their attention on to the Pangolier. He may have been able to avoid the previous fight ET, but this one really catches him out.
Yeah, and that's always going to be the threat. As long as Doom is up, Adrian has to hide. It's just how it works. He has to be elusive. He has to be at the edge of the fight. He has to let everybody else go in first, and then he can play TA. But that's also what the Doom is waiting for. It's going to be a game of cat and mouse. Can Dodd find the TA, or will the TA hide well enough? And right now, look at this. Ward just barely scouted out the time here for Adrian. And Dodd wants him on the wave. He knows he's coming. Oh, look at this.
There's the jump in. The Doom's deployed. Adrian, can you fight your way out? Because you really don't have any other options. And no, he cannot. Not even a little bit. Dodd cleans it up. Just the perfect trap that he lays. Meanwhile, over in the middle lane, Oscar's getting jumped in on. Poison Nova, though, deployed onto ZXCA.
Oh, and the supports.
Oh, that's a problem. Yeah, Gennett comes in for the Avatos as well. They'll get the kills. They'll get the Tombstone. Ghost Ship onto Oscar, drops him low, and Trakeel wants the kill. He is not going to be denied, but now, gotta make sure you actually save enough to roll your way out of this. Okay, the Blink Dagger, bit of a cheat code there. He'll be just fine. So at least they get something, ET, but both of your supports after you lost your carry and now potentially losing Jamari, can he TP home? Yes, he can. They don't quite have the physical damage to get through him even in the BKB, so Jamari survives, Courier respawns, Aghanim Scepter completed, but definitely a bit of a gut punch here for Dreamers. They are forced onto the defensive.
Yeah. Now it's just a matter of time. Minute of Aegis, or a minute left on that Aegis. Doom is going to be back off cooldown. He's got the level 20 talent, so the next Doom is not going to feel very long. Probably an Octarine core in the works here for Dodd. Just feels like Infinity, despite some hiccups here or there, still making the plays that they need, even though right now, slightly dangerous position here, and Adrian is in.
He
but
TP'd here as well. They have to protect him. That is not protecting him. That's pretty much the opposite. Static Storm deployed onto Jamari. Gonna keep him locked down. That Torrent Storm, though, is creating a distraction, but at this point, ET, a distraction for what? Can they really take this fight? They're trying to get onto the Leshrac, but he still has Aegis, so even if they kill him, he's coming back. Oh, and that's a DD Dodd. Oh boy, time to run. They're trying to get out of here. 555 though will not escape. Glimpsed back into the fight. And Gennett sees an opportunity. He actually pushes forward to get the toss back onto ZXCA. It'll cost him his life, but he's opened the door for his teammates to look for a little bit more. They get the Rubik. The Pango TP's away, but well, if you're looking at it, all of that for Tiny and your Aegis, that's looking pretty good. And that's also that Octarine core finished off for Dodd, so he was already able to get the talent to reduce the Doom cooldown. Now it's going to be even lower with the CDR from the item pickup.
yeah, Leo Style also didn't get to see him in the fight, but just goes to the secret shop, buys a scythe, still doesn't have BKB, is going to get it now, but you know, just has an even better initiation and makes it even more difficult for these heroes post BKB, even pre BKB, just in the combo to give you even more damage. And that was a pretty great fight for Dreamers for a little bit. It was them really just working with what they had, because Adrian didn't have a life, got comboed 100-0 without getting his BKB off. But anytime ZXCA can steal the Split Earth, it feels like they should be able to take an engagement. And you saw in that fight, every single Ags Shard Split Earth in that engagement was ZXCA's. He got down like 5 Split Earths. It's incredible if he can get it, but it's also a hard spell to steal. That's also where we're not done yet in this game. When it comes to that second Roche, that's Dreamer's next opportunity to take all of the initiative back away from Infinity. Even though Infinity are in that realm of luxury, Gennett has whatever, but there's a full Ags now on Prada, so Prada can start his own fights. There's going to be an overwhelming blink on Dodd pretty soon here. Halberd finished up on Oscar. They certainly have the item advantage over Dreamers at the very least.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that Aghanim Scepter upgrade for the Disruptor may be something that really ruins Dreamers' plans, because we've seen a couple of times here, one or two heroes are able to kind of just get themselves out of that Static Storm radius just in time. Uh-oh, ZXCA. That's a little bit too much. It doesn't go down instantly, but still kind of rough. There is a buyback, though, so ZXCA is back on the front lines, and Dodd did pop his BKB there, so he's got to wait a little bit, but you also take into account the fact that Dodd doesn't have to be the first one in, so in the right circumstances, ET, if he can sort of wait and bide his time, might just be able to blink in and Doom regardless of his own BKB status.
Well, and because of the Octarine core, it's only 67-second cooldown. don't get to feel the super long cooldown nerf, you know. Feels like it was ages ago, but it was really just the patch after TI, but still feels like he can still participate in pretty much every fight he'll need to. And like I said, we're just waiting for that next Roche. Infinity, they don't necessarily need the Aegis. It's nice to have on the Leshrac, but as long as they take it away from Dreamers, they're satisfied. It really makes it very hard for them to throw this game. Even if they all die, it ends up just being gold, and it doesn't change the way they really play. But an Aegis, that will affect how they play and how they're able to fight versus the Templar Assassin. And Roche, it decides to be kind of middle of the pack here. Minute 30 on Aegis. Isn't too long, isn't too short. It's just going to be a little bit of time before we really see anything, any movement here. Also gives a little bit of leeway to Dreamers who don't have to worry about scouting. They have to check the Roche. That's something that still has to happen. We probably should see a smoke from Dreamers just to poke, because if it is a 0-second Roche timer, then they should know about it. But they're also able to finish up a nice amount of items right now. I think Jamari looking for the shard. I think there's a full Daedalus now on Adrian as well. So really, getting the magnitude stronger, but still need to be incredibly cautious. They're also still all getting items at a slower rate than Infinity. The items are just few and far between there for the supports, especially on Dreamers.
Ganek getting spotted there, but able to walk away, and I do like this pickup here for Drakeel. Mage Slayer coming into play, right, against Leo style in particular. Gonna be nice to do anything you possibly can to reduce his damage output, so pretty sure the swashbuckle in and apply it should be relatively safe, but we'll have to see just how well it plays out, because well, if he's going in with the Rolling Thunder, that could maybe delay the timing a little bit. Speaking of timing, Infinity, Roche is up in 5. Obviously, they don't know that, so they're looking for the high ground push instead, trying to poke. Genic, that is a very aggressive blink. That's an even more aggressive blink from Leo style. Gets the Hex on his EXEA. But nobody's going to get punished for it. There is finally a BKB on the Leshrac, so if he is getting into trouble, he's going to be able to pop it. But with the amount of health he has, he is trying to wait. Now it'll be deployed, though. But where are his teammates? When are they going to push in? They're not. Not really going to push in at all. Stolen Split Earth, though, does catch Oscar, so they lock him down. They'll finish that kill quickly, and I feel like they honestly, he probably could have just blitzed the tower and taken it. Instead, they get a little bit greedy, and they end up losing one of their cores. Now they know that Roche has respawned, but now they also should know you can't just take this right now. Dreamers are smoked up, and they're coming. Genic is going to get spotted first. Gets the Ava, gets the toss. Still taking a hell of a lot of damage, but he's creating separation, and now there's going to be the jump in play, but the Split Earth is stolen again. Dodd gets locked down alongside Leo style, but they did get the Static Storm. Able to lock up the Templar Assassin. They drop the Doom on top of Adrian as well, so Adrian will immediately die. Rada just gets his team back on track. It was looking a little bit iffy, and he just shuts it all down.
Yeah, and Dreamers very consciously put themselves at risk there. They don't have BKB on the TA when they make that move. So even though it's a great Static Storm, he couldn't get BKB off in the first place because he didn't have it. It simply wasn't there. And sure, you get the buyback out of Oscar. Oscar got one shot in the previous fight, but you throw everything away now. And Dreamers lose that easy objective for them to play around. Leshrac hits 25. Now he's going to have an Aegis in his back pocket. Probably has a shard in his back pocket as well. And sure, the tier 3 stand, the glyph is still available to you, but Dreamers definitely lose a lot of initiative in this game. Infinity gain probably their simplest push. It's going to be real easy for them to close up this game now.
27,000 net worth ahead of their opponents, and set up quite perfectly to get that high ground broken. So, see how they approach this. They do have their ults coming back up. 2 seconds only for Static Storm. Doom is only 10 seconds out, so I mean, I guess the Nova is something that they're still missing, but they really should not need that, especially if they're just going after these objectives. Tier 3 tower gets taken down. Going in after the racks. Jamari's trying to clear the creeps as best as he can. Not a bad effort from him. It's just not really going to be enough. ZXCA, he steals Pulse Nova, but I don't know how useful that's going to be. Rubik doesn't really want to be in the middle of all these heroes. Might look to take something else in the near future, but before he gets the chance ET, that is the entire top lane cleared out. And Infinity really didn't even take any risks there. Every spell's back up, BKB's back online. They just kind of get that for free.
Yeah, they get to move across now. Trying to be active here from Dreamers. They're outside of the base. Adrian wants some double meld hit, and Drakeel, not the cleanest start, but maybe can recover it. They're killing Genic on the other side of the fight, but he's got a Force Staff. He's going to try to survive, but they're trying to get on top of that Tombstone, and it looks like Infinity gets a little bit too hectic for them, so they disengage.
Just basically sacrifice Genic to get the rest of the lineup out safely, and well, it works. It's successful, and there is a buyback on that Tiny as well, so if they desperately need him, well, where could he even TP to? They do have the outpost down bot, I guess, but that's a ways away, so he can buy back, but he can't immediately rejoin his teammates.
Yeah, and now moving in. Well, Drakeel's not here. Doesn't have roll for 20 seconds. Really wouldn't help out too much, but still giving respect to their opponents. And man, Infinity really got to pick up a gem. There are just so many TA traps littered everywhere that make this fight seem a lot more even and okay. He's in.
Style straight in, gets some nice damage onto 555, but he doesn't kill him off in time. But, well, they do push their way forward. They get a disarm onto the Templar Assassin. They didn't hit her with the Doom, though, ET. So she falls back. And, of course, that means you didn't commit Doom, but you did commit Poison Nova in there, and that's a bit of a hefty cooldown. So, Infinity take a swing. Don't really connect. Dreamers buy themselves some more time.
Yeah, and I think initially just a great blink from Adrian. If he doesn't get out of there, then that is just it. But it's where there isn't very much instant damage in this game. It's where there are pulses, there are ticks that you can play in between. So yeah, just that little bit of a buffer, and it works. It gets to live in that situation. And Prada also did not feel comfortable following up his left track there, which is very important. Prada waited. He did not static storm. He did not miss. But now Adrian doesn't have BKB, so this is a little bit more difficult for him to play in. And a lot of physical damage, and tried for the tossback, but failed.
Leshrac gonna lose his first life. Meanwhile, Genic, he can't afford to die here. He is holding on to the gem, so they would really rather not have to sacrifice him. But at this point, yeah, starting to run out of time there on the roll from Drakeel, so he tries to fall back, but Dodd blinks in, drops the Doom on top of him. Good soul rip from 555, though, buying some time. But, well, the Doom is applied to the Kunkka as well. Refresher Orb coming into play, so 2 members of Dreamers on the sidelines. Oscar, though, didn't have any sort of force staff. Teammates weren't really close enough to get him over the wall, so he's just stuck, and he dies. And ET, that's 2 Dooms. No kills. A little bit of chip damage, I guess, just by proxy onto the tier 3 tower, but they don't take any objectives. They don't get any kills. They use some big cooldowns, and they're no closer than they were before.
Yeah, it's where you don't want to say that, are we going to have to wait for that next Aegis? But Infinity are getting stalled up a little bit here. They'd love to push in. They'd like to get some more damage, but Leostar as well is too slotted for his own good. He doesn't have any armor item. The plate mail isn't an important enough slot for him right now, and they're looking for him. Of course, Leo style is the hardest grab, easily, so they don't get to connect on anything. But this is also one of the drawbacks of Infinity's lineup. If they aren't finding those easy kills, it's just the Leshrac. So if they kill the Leshrac, if they pressure the Leshrac, if they keep him away from the building, it's not like the rest of the lineup is really going to blitz in, even though, oh,
Okay.
Dreamers. Well.
Kill DCs. They do have Doom ready. He's going for the War Stomp currently, so...
Yeah, he's stunned. Adrian
Yeah.
is going to get doomed. And that's kind of unfortunate. I think he is... Here, wait. Telekinesis has been cast, but it was cast on Genic. Oh. If it was cast on the TA, maybe I'd say there's a little bit of hope here, but I do not think that that's going to happen. Also, they got the glyph off before the pause, so, props to Infinity for making sure that Leo Styles TP doesn't get canceled, but I think we're losing a TA here. Even though he's got buyback, something to think about. But here we go. Confirmo. G.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, he's gonna get doomed, and I don't think they can cancel this TP on the Leshrac. What? He blinked out. Adrian was able to blink himself out of there. It is the doom deployed onto Jamari, and then Jamari gets denied. Okay.
Yeah, pauses are whack.
Yeah,
though. Like,
yeah.
That's I don't know, man.
If that
Cat-like
pause doesn't come
reflexes.
through, I don't know if he would have had the reactions to save himself, but... Well, if you're Infinity, Jamari still died, and he died without buyback. The deny is neat, but not really important. What's important is the fact that the Kunkka does go down, so there's no Ghost Ship, there's no Torrent Storm, there's no Tidal Wave to get you out of position, there's no Oscar to help this push, though, as he does get kind of caught out, but Leo Style apparently does not care. Pushes all the way to the tier 4s.
Uh-oh.
And Adrian has to activate his BKB, but now here comes Dodd onto the back line. They're looking for Drakeel. He's going to refresh. He's got a Doom available, but he knows who his target's supposed to be. Prada gets in. There's going to be... Well, Static Storm deployed. Doom used. TA has to buy back, but buys back into... What reinforcements? There's another buyback. Okay, Drakeel's going to try to rejoin the fight, and now maybe they're going to be able to punish this. Leo Style way too far forward, but his teammates did focus down the racks eventually. Got the tier 3 and the... not the melee, the ranged, actually, so... Okay. The damage is not as bad as it could have been, ET, but your buybacks are now all but gone. It's one left on 555.
Yeah, they've used pretty much everything, and sure, they don't get it in this initial volley, but that's what Infinity were looking for. And Leo Style overdid it just a bit. If he didn't die as fast as he did die, he would have been surely picked off by Jamari, who's just going to respawn and just stun him up. So, still is the only building damage in his team. It needs to maybe temper himself a little bit, but still, they get the buybacks, win objective, kill Adrian. Operation Kill the TA has not changed, even though they're trying to set themselves up for an Aegis here. But Oscar, a little bit of a throw, perhaps, because I think he's going to die. I don't know.
Can they bait it? They know who they want, and Adrian, he just picked up a rapier. If they catch him, he is in some serious trouble, and there it's going to be. They catch him out first with the Static Storm. Where's that Doom, though? Dodd's got to get into position. Can he find his target? Well, he used the Doom onto someone else, so Adrian is still alive. Jamari was the one who gets finished off there, but he's not the one with the rapier, so... Adrian's still looking to make something happen, but Dodd jumps back in. Overwhelming blink. Adrian, though, pops the BKB. With that damage from the rapier, he is chunking down Dodd. He will find the first kill. They're going to get another onto Genic, and... Well, if they didn't know about the rapier before, ET, they sure as hell know now.
Yeah, completely caught him off guard. Did not expect their teammates to die so quickly. When Dodd makes that jump, he does not expect to get 3-shot, but it just happens. You don't react quick enough. You don't realize what's happening to you, and then, well, that's it. That was pretty darn simple. You might lose a tier 4. Somebody still needs to come back into the base from Dreamers, and somebody will. Unfortunately for Dreamers, though, they do not get lucky with the Roche. It continues to not favor them in this game, because if Adrian had a Rapier and an Aegis, well, this game's blown wide open. It's anybody's game at that point. And I think Infinity really just stretched themselves out so thin, as well as Dodd settling way too early. He only had one BKB, one Doom in that fight. He was still waiting for his refresher to be back up. But he went on a Kunkka who didn't have Hex, didn't have Torrent Storm, already used Ghost Ship. He went on the guy that used everything, basically. And then the TA was just able to walk over the fight after that.
I think part of that just coming from the fact that he didn't see Adrian. And the reason why he didn't see him is because Adrian was hiding near the secret shop so he could buy his rapier. So it just kind of throws everything off kilter. But now, I mean, they know, right? If you're looking at Dodd and Prada, there is one target. Everyone else on Dreamers can do whatever the hell that they want. That duo is looking for the TA every single time.
And here we go. Roche respawns. Here we are. Let's see what he's got. Got a refresher. Not the worst, not the best. Definitely would want the Ags, but look at this. Genic needs some help, but double disengage, and now Dodd.
We got the Hex onto him. That Ghost Ship isn't going to do a whole lot. Torrent Storm not really helping either, but look at Leo Style pushing onto the backline. He's going to look to take down CXDA first. They do find that opening kill. And Jamari has to activate his BKB and fall back, but Dreamers... Well, they still have basically no buybacks. They cannot afford to get too many heroes caught out, but Drakeel is going to get pulled back. Roll-up only really helps him so much. Without the actual Rolling Thunder, not a whole lot he can do to escape. So that's now 2 dead, and they're looking for more. Genic blinks forward, gets the toss back. Jamari's been caught. He is going to go for the tidal wave, but they've got the Static Storm. They're able to lock down the Templar Assassin. Adrian is going to get doomed, going to get hexed, going to get finished. And that's the game. GG called. Dreamers realized with no buyback and no rapier, we got nothing left to play for.
Yeah, and Dodd pads his stats. 43k net worth Doom. Of course, still a little bit there at the end, but also a team fight that wasn't even as difficult as it could have been. Infinity had buybacks, they had Boots of Travels too, they had the Outpost. Really, they could have thrown much more at Dreamers, but Dreamers just can't last that long, especially outside of the base. They wanted to contest so badly. They know if they get the Aegis on TA, the game changes. It turns into their win. It turns into their game to lose. But then they get caught outside the base. They don't have the easiest time defending. Their opponents are no longer just coming at them. They're behind them. They're everywhere. They're on all sides. They're making initiations. They're coming at you over and over again. Dodd throws away his initiation to allow for his teammates to carry him, letting Prada and Genic finding those perfect jumps. And then Prada gets the big Static Storm. And that's all it takes. And that's all it needs to take. And they get a very nice 2-0. A 2-0 in a series, in all honesty, took a lot longer than I think Infinity were prepared for, considering how both of their early games went. But it also goes to show that Dreamers just wouldn't die. And now, well, they're not dead yet, but their life in this tournament is becoming way more difficult, as now I don't even know if their future is in their own hands anymore.
Yeah, so with this loss, their record stands at 5-7. So that still puts them 1 win ahead of Alliance Latam and No Runes. And, very fortunately for Dreamers, those 2 teams play their final series directly against each other. So if they won it, then we have a tiebreaker and Dreamers only need to win 1 game in their final series. If somebody 2-0s, then Dreamers still only need 1 win for a tiebreaker. 2 wins would get them through to the playoffs. But that means that their chance to punch their ticket today, ET, is... well, it's long gone. It all comes down to what happens tomorrow.
Yep, they gotta wait with bated breath and see if somebody gets knocked down even further. But being on 5 wins, man, that is on the cusp. It's right at the end. And, well, let's say they don't get eliminated and, well, then they gotta play Shopify Rebellion. So, Dreamers, the path is only starting, but GG's to them and GG's to Infinity, who still have some problems, are still figuring themselves out with Dodd, but the rest of the lineup still playing incredibly well and definitely adapting to the strategies that he's bringing to the table. So great stuff from them.
Yeah, the way that they've been able to draft themselves around Dodd has been pretty impressive. Does get them this 2-0 victory that secures their place in the playoffs. Again, their seeding still up in the air. They could, I think, end up anywhere between maybe like 2 and 4 by the end of this, but at least they're going to the playoffs, so they can care about who they actually have to play at a later date. For now, they are victorious, ET, and we are going to be moving along to our final series of the day. We're finally getting a North American squad involved in the action. SA fans, you're not entirely locked out of this. It is going to be Wildcard versus Ravens, and Ravens now, another team looking to get over that hump, get that last bit of success that they need for a potential playoff berth as well, whereas Wildcard, playing for fun, playing for practice. They have already been eliminated, ET, but we'll see what they bring to the table.
Yeah, and we'll see, because will Samson take up the reins again as the carry? Is he gonna force the stands around him to conform? Will he take the reins? Who knows? But if there's one thing I know about Samson, is that he doesn't like losing Dota, so he's gonna try his heart out.
We're going to be getting into that final series in just a little bit here. So we'll step away, play some ads, get some music going for you, and we'll be back for the start of our final best of 2.